Standards are what make the world go round. It is the difference between one organization and another organization. We all have them. We just have varying levels of them, right? And a standard in one firm is going to be different from a standard in another firm. And everybody has their own definition of world-class, in quotes. So standards, I believe, are the minimum that you're willing to tolerate, right? Minimum behavior, minimum output, minimum performance. Like, you define what that is. And it's a funny thing how standards exist. Let's look at different types of organizations. The ones that we regard to have high standards, like the Four Seasons of the Ritz-Carlton, we regard as having high standards, let's say in the hospitality space. Or you look at Rolls-Royce, the auto manufacturer, that's regarded as high standards. They hand-built every single car, right? Compared to other cars that may have defects and so on. Like, you don't really see a whole lot of that with Rolls-Royce. They're very high-quality vehicles. Apple, Apple's seen as having very, very high standards. We love their products. So why does not every organization like Apple or the Four Seasons or Rolls-Royce or, let's say winning organizations in sports like the Patriots of old or University of Alabama, University of Georgia, etc. Why doesn't every organization win a championship every single season? Why isn't every organization Apple, and why isn't every hotel like the Four Seasons of the Ritz-Carlton? Like, why don't they all have those levels of customer service standards? And it's just because we're all different. We have different motivations, different levels of commitment, and high standards require a greater level of commitment than low standards. I think it starts there. There's organizations that are willing to do more and are willing to dedicate more time, more money, more resources to operating a certain way. I mean, there's certain organizations that are more ambitious, and there's teams that are more ambitious. They want to have a higher place in the market. To them, it's not acceptable to, just have a winning season. They go for a Super Bowl, or they want to absolutely make sure that they're, they make it to the playoffs every single season. That's a standard that they've defined. But how does it start? And when you look back through history, really how a standard begins and how you go from like a low standard to a high standard is typically a person or a group of individuals come into an organization and they get angry. That's how it happens, okay? So somebody at some point says, enough of this shit, okay? And they can no longer imagine maintaining that certain level of existence any longer, really. I mean, that's at that point they say, that's it, okay? These low standards come to an end. These high standards are the new normal. And then once you have those standards, that means that you are unwilling to accept any less. Basically, standards aren't just the fact that you put some poster on the wall and you said, here's the standard. They only work when they're reinforced. So if you say, hey, everybody, we're going to show up every day at 9 o'clock. Somebody shows up at 9:05. And it is acceptable to show up at 9:05. Then 9:05 is actually the standard, not 9 o'clock.